Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Kinze Innovation Center. Glad that you could join us this morning. Section this morning on grain cart harvest preparation. On behalf of the entire technical support team here at Williamsburg, we want to welcome you to the webinar. And basically, are we ready for harvest?
Yeah.
Have you started harvest yet?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
We know that there's a lot of guys out there that have already started, but we wanted to take a few minutes. And I'll introduce Brandon Veneman and Kurt Mann. My name is Phil Jennings, and we wouldn't be here, obviously, without Zach behind the camera. And you'll have to mute that, Kurt. A fun fact to kind of start the thing this morning is that grain carts are Kinze's longest continuous build product. We've been building grain carts since around 1970. 1971. In fact, recently did a marketing promotion, and they found a couple of the 1971 model carts still operating out there today. So been with us a long time. And the thing of it is they kind of take a back seat to the planters that we build or other products because they're just not nearly as complicated. They've almost doubled our field efficiency over the years, keeping the combine running, keeping the trucks rolling. So we need to spend a little time making sure that they're going to be ready to go for harvest. So regardless of how new or old your grain cart might be, we're going to take a few minutes to look at safety items, wear items, and when should we be considering replacement? What do we need to do to get there? So I think, is there anything else I've missed, guys? Can we get started? Okay. All right. Guys, safety first. In the fall, we start losing daylight. Everybody's probably started noticing that as well, but we start working longer hours too when the combines get rolling. So safety first. And I'm going to get started, kind of use the carts as our tools this morning, and we're going to go front to back, and we're going to talk safety items first. So right up front, guys, our safety chains and getting things hooked to the tractor. Safety chains get ignored. The older style had a catched hook, spring lock hook, and oftentimes it wasn't uncommon to find those damaged dragging through the stocks, other things like that. So number one, get those hooks repaired, get them put on correctly. These newer series don't require a hook, guys, and they can be retrofitted onto the older carts, but they're just a drop through like the deck of a trailer and pin in place, so we don't have the risk of losing those chains. Okay. As we move on back, guys, the other things from a safety standpoint is reflective tape and lighting. Okay. Especially as we get some age, we're looking at reflective tape along the side, all the way down these carts. But as we get to the back, our lighting, and with most of our newer tractors today, guys, we've got the tail lights, turn signals, obviously the 7-way flashers, okay? But make sure that all of our lighting is working correctly. All of our decals back here are clean and legible, and that everything's very visible. Because like we said, we get out there at night and we need to make sure that we've got this thing lighting up like a Christmas tree. We don't want any accidents out there. Guys, SMV sign, make sure once again that we've got that SMV sign clean and clear, and if not, it's just a sticker, guys. Put a new one on it. Make sure that you are seen out there on the highways. Okay. With that, we're going to move right back up front again, and we're going to get started on some of the mechanical. And Kurt's bringing up a good point. We made a list to make sure that we weren't forgetting things this morning. As I was looking at lights, guys, have recently gotten quite a few questions as guys are working on their lights, the older fixtures with the regular bulbs in them, convert them to the LEDs. The lights that are on this new cart here with us today fit the same bolt pattern, have the same plug-ins. They're a direct replacement. So if you're tired of messing with bulbs inside those fixtures, go ahead and just replace them with the new LED fixtures from your Kinze dealer. So thanks, Kurt, for reminding me about that.
No problem.
Turn it over to Brandon, and we'll get started on some of the wear items.
Yep. So like Phil said, guys, hit safety. Safety is always important, safety first. But we'll kind of start up here at the front we'll talk about some common wear items, different things we need to be checking before the season. And we'll just kind of start here and we'll work our way back throughout the cart. So we'll start up here at the front. We have our hitch clevis here, guys. You may notice, depending on what year of cart you have, the one we have here does not have our ball insert style like we offer on our newer carts. So we do have one here. Just know, guys, if you guys are switching over to this ball style clevis, a little more swivel adjustments there. There is a grease zerk on the side for, I believe it's a 40-hour interval, if I recall correctly. But just note, based on your tractor application, we do have different size inserts and castings. So whether you're using a big four-wheel drive with a Cat 5 hitch assembly, or if you're using a rigid frame tractor and want to drop down to like a Cat 4 or Cat 3, depending on your tractor size and configuration, we do have different options available here. For those of you that are using the what I'm gonna call hitch saver or hardened washer that Kinze does offer for the bottom of our clevis here, make sure that's still in good condition. Over time, those will wear down, even though they are a specialized hardened washer. I know other guys are using poly solutions as well, but don't take those for granted, guys. Make sure those are still in good thickness, good condition. That way we're not eating into our drawbar over time.
So Brandon, a quick question is, if I've got the old standard cast hitch, and these were used in the swivel hitches on scale packages, so a number of different places that hitch was always the same, I can replace it with a pivot, or am I stuck with the old casting?
Yeah, should be able to replace it with a pivot or with the pivoting bushing. Correct me if I'm wrong, Phil, but I believe we did increase our spindle diameter over time. I believe these are 3 inches and they used to be 2.5, if I recall.
So yes, these are interchangeable, guys. If you're looking at replacing your hitch, look into the pivot style and make sure that you can size it to your pin. Take that slop out of there. I know a lot of concern over the years that was a on size, meaning there was a lot of extra movement in there. It's not necessary, and the bull pull or the pivot hitch, however you want to describe it, it can be sized to your tractor.
Yep, good point. So we talked about our hitch. We'll switch up to our PTO shaft here now. As you guys can see, I don't have my tractor half here in front of me. That's just taken off because this is still in shipping configuration. But a couple important things in regards to our PTO shaft for our regular maintenance. On the tractor side, guys, right up at the front, we're going to have our overrunning half of the shaft. So that way, with some tractors don't have the soft PTO start and stop. When you're running this cart and all of our augers are moving and you flip that PTO shaft off, that way we don't have a hard slam of our augers. It gives the auger some time to slow down due to its mass and rotation. So there is a grease. We need to grease that as well on pre-season, guys. I wish I had one here in front of me, so I apologize that I don't. But grease that overrunning clutch. We also have U-joints, as you guys both know, front and rear. Make sure we are greasing those as well. And the last thing I want to mention here on the back side's kind of hidden underneath of our cover here, but we do have a torque limiting clutch on the back side here, guys. There is no grease fittings or anything on that. It's important to note that is not a slip clutch. We get that question is commonly asked. It is not a plate style, so you don't have to worry about those plates fusing together or anything over time. That is strictly a torque limiting clutch using some springs and some different balls in there. So it's self resetting, no shear bolts. So if your cart operator gets a little greedy and has a little more gumption going through the cart than the tractor can handle, guys, you'll hear it trip. All you do is turn off your PTO, disengage your horizontal auger, and re-kick on your PTO, and your vertical should unload itself. So never have to get out of the cart. It is auto resetting. Want to talk about our belt package, Phil?
Do the gearbox next, I think.
Good code call. That's why we got that list. Older carts, well, these carts as well, it's just not as visible to see, guys. We will have a gearbox on here. It is important that we are checking that oil level every year via our sight plug. That sight plug should get us around half the gearbox volume worth of oil. As we look into there, guys, whether you decide on that fence of should I change the oil, am I good for another season? Obviously, we want to make sure we don't have a whole lot of fines in there, but just some of the older carts and such with that cut gear, it will be common to see some little fine particles of shavings. So don't be super concerned if you see a little bit in there, but obviously if we see an excessive amount, we'll need to look at our oil, look at our gears inside that gearbox.
All right. Driveline, as we keep going, guys, been through the gearbox, and as Brandon said, check it, change it if you need to. That's a standard 80/90 is what we're going to put in the gearbox. A lot of times it can be tough to dig through the manual and find that. We get questions this time of year. So if you are deciding to change that out, you're going to end up needing, in most cases, for most of the gearbox sizes, once we got into the 50 series and beyond, you're over a gallon to put oil in that gearbox, and make sure it's a gear oil like an 80/90. So the gearbox is then driving our auger set, and for the dual auger carts, we're either going to have a chain set on the older 40 series, 100 series, and 40 series, or on our newer carts from the 1050 series on up till through today. I've got the cutaway here as well. It's a belt drive package. So the Kinze on-demand belt drive gave us a lot more control for the grain. We can shut the horizontal auger off, unload the vertical, and actually get that shut off quicker than it was closing the old flow gates. It's worked well for us for a lot of years and has simplified our driveline quite a little bit, but there is still some maintenance in it. So using this example, guys, the belt package from the gearbox and the drive pulley that we're using at the bottom, up and around, and your belt package size will depend upon the size of cart that you have. Most of our larger carts are an 8-groove V. There is a spring adjustment inside here that tensions the belt, and there's also a throw adjustment on the outside to make sure that belt stays engaged under load. So on a quick visual, guys, engage the belt. This display is already engaged. The belt's tight. I can see that my belt guard on the back simply has an air gap. And on the front side, and this is visual without taking any shields off, I have my through bolts, and there's a series of washers here, guys. In the engaged position, these washers should be free to move. In fact, you should be able to see approximately 1 to 2 thicknesses of washer as a gap in here. You should be able to move those washers. That allows this whole assembly to pull in under load when you have some higher moisture corn or you're trying to run at full PTO speeds. So just a quick visual, guys, as you're hooking up your grain cart, engage the belt, make sure your hoses are in the right direction for you to operate it, and check to make sure you've got some gap there for the belt to engage. Okay. All right. What's next on our list, Kurt?
Got augers.
All right. Auger package, guys. I'm going to go down here and look. I've got my inspection cover off, clean out door off. And we can look, in some cases, from the top side, there'll be an inspection door as well. But when we look at auger wear and say, okay, where do I inspect it? What am I looking for? Think of it this way. Any place that we change directions, guys, okay? If you think of it this way, we've got grain coming forward, and now we're bringing it up. So any place we're changing direction, we're going to see a higher wear with the movement of the corn in here. So number one, taking off your clean outs and your inspection covers and start looking at your flighting. Kinze builds all of our augers here in-house. It's one of the things we have done for many years is build a very heavy or industrial auger for our carts. So 2 things. Number one, we stretch the flighting on the tube, so there's very minimal welding, but we also have a straightening and balancing process here. A lot of our auger flightings are going to have a hard surface edge to them. All right, so Kinze's done a lot of things to try and promote increased wear life, but we're going to look at the floor auger where it comes in. We're going to look at this vertical auger here at the transition area, and we're also going to look at the vertical auger at the joint up above where we have our fold and hinge and a carrier bearing. Okay, guys, don't let it lose any diameter. Meaning you're going to see the flighting surface change over time. It may get a little bit of a scalloped appearance to it as well. That's fine. It's when we start losing diameter that edge gets sharp and gets thin. Okay. Kinze does not sell flighting pieces. It will be a complete auger for the reasons I just described as far as how we build it. So if you're choosing to repair locally, that's one thing. Make sure that they get balanced as well. come to your Kinze dealer, get that replacement auger. It'll be the full auger assembly. We also get a lot of questions on poly. Kinze does not offer poly from the factory, but working with the folks out at Lundell Plastics, there's poly kits available out there for your carts. So as long as you have good base material left to support that poly, even if your auger's getting thin but you haven't lost any diameter, you certainly have enough base material to bolt that poly flighting on. So definitely a good choice to extend wear life of an auger as well. But check with your Kinze dealer. It's not a Kinze part, but the folks out at Lundell Plastics have been doing a great job of providing kits for Kinze carts. Okay. All right. Auger wear. What about the hardware pieces? What about the auger tubes, the floors? Because we get through a couple of different augers on some of these older carts, and we're going to start to see that same wear in those same areas. So that transition between the floor and where we come up, that area around the bearing and the hinge on the auger tube itself. Okay, our older carts, guys, the older 100 series, 40 series carts, where this was all one weldment, okay, those do have liner kits. There's enough auger tube diameter versus the screw to allow clearance that we can slide a full steel liner in the upper vertical or the lower vertical. Okay, those are available through Kinze Repair Parts. Instruction sheet comes along with it. You can drop it down in there and weld it in place. As we got to the 50 series carts and beyond, we designed these for serviceability. So we've got a bolt flange right here, and we get to the point where we've worn through the tube material. We can simply replace just that segment of it as a bolt-on piece. So we no longer have to use it as a line. You put a liner in them. Okay, so when it comes to the floor sheets and the way the carts were manufactured, there wasn't a perfect radius there. So there weren't floor sheets available from Kinze. I would once again cite the folks at Lundell for having a UHMW or a plastic floor sheets available that we can conform to and use as repairs for the older carts. So know that we can keep those carts in service with some high wear material. All right. Next on our list, tarps. Tarps. Guys, the tarp packages only came into play with the 50 series. So the later model carts all had tarps available from Kinze. The older series tarps were purchased directly through Sherco. Similar, obviously, with the same manufacturer, but when it comes to repair parts, if we need things like the straps, the bungees or the retractors, those types of things, those would be available through Sherco. The newer 50 series and beyond, you can get those repair parts through your Kinze dealer. Alrighty. I think we're going to go to wheels, tires, and tracks, and I'll turn it back to Brandon here for a minute.
We'll start with our tire options, guys, even though the cart here in front of us is equipped with tracks. Regular maintenance things like you would normally do on any other piece of equipment. And we want to check our wheel bearings. We want to make sure our hubs are greased. Tire pressure. Manual does call out specific tire pressures. So just make sure your tire pressures are inflated properly. And then also the most probably overlooked thing that we have listed in the manual is making sure our lug nuts are torqued. So whether you guys have a new cart, brand new this year, I need to go through that torque schedule for breaking it in. It's also just not a bad habit to get into torquing those wheel lug nuts every year just to make sure they're not coming loose over time. So you guys can see here, like I mentioned before, this cart is equipped with tracks. A couple different maintenance items we need to be aware of when it comes to tracks. One, we're kind of spoiled now as far as track tensioning. Most of our carts are equipped with Kinze track setups, which is a self-tensioning system within the cast piece here, guys. For those of you who do have a track cart, make sure you guys are lining those tracks every year. It's a simple process to do, guys. You're going to take it, pull it down the road for a mile or so, get out, and on the leading mid wheel here, guys. I'll show you on the back just so you guys can see. If you simply take your hand and feel on the inside of those wheels, it shouldn't be hot to the touch. It will be warm, but you should be able to keep your hand on there. And if one side's hotter than the other, that'll let us know that the track is riding to one side versus the other. So simple adjustment procedure for both the Kinze style tracks as well as the Kinze built tracks you'll see on some of the older carts as well as our 1721. There is just a simple bolt adjustment we use on the front caster there, which will steer the front of those mid wheels left to right. As far as oil level and our bogie wheels, Kinze track setup, guys, it is just an oil bath hub here on our bogies. As you can see, clear sight glass makes it easy to tell what our oil level is within those bogies. Obviously, make sure it's not milky, make sure we're not losing oil, we're not leaking anywhere, but just give that a quick visual inspection before the season. On our 1721 or older kart models where we have the Kinze built track system, guys, the bogie wheels will be a grease fitting, so make sure we're greasing those bogies before the season. That way we can ensure we have proper lubrication. Is there anything I missed, Phil, on track setup?
Nope.
Nope. Okay. Since I'm right back here in the corner, guys, I'm going to transition into scales. All of our newer series carts will have a 5 load cell scale system, whereas our older ones had 3. A couple key things to think about before we start the season in terms of scales, guys. Don't wait till the last minute to fire up the scale display and make sure everything's communicating properly. Make sure the GT 460, 560, 400 or the new Scale Tech system is pulling up in your cab like you would expect it to. Some important things to remember, the weight should be stable or should hold in a non-moving position. But just keep in mind, guys, as you guys are going across the field, it is not uncommon with a mobile scale application to have some fluctuation in weight. So don't be too concerned over 50-pound increment swing as we start to move across the field. That is normal for a mobile scale application. We start to look at some of our different components in here, guys. On this cart here specifically, we have our scale or load cells on each corner of our track system here. And everything should be loose, guys. If you come in here and wiggle stuff, it shouldn't be binding, all right? You should be able to physically be able to move that, and that'll help ensure that our load cells are not stuck, not giving us improper weight readings. That need to make sure everything is free to move.
Brandon, do we have to calibrate these scales?
Yes. I believe from the factory it comes pre-calibrated, if I recall. But if you guys are starting to see some off readings, we do have calibration and setup numbers in the manual itself, so it's an easy way to check and make sure it is set up properly. But it's always important to remember, guys, when you guys are getting those weight readings, it always has to be verified across the legal for trade scale. So that's the most important thing. We're not just basing it off of a combine readout or whatever the scale says here. It's always important to validate those with a legal for trade system, but we should always be within 2%. Pretty close out of the box.
Give or take. Guys, and if we have questions about scale accuracy, data drives our decisions in these cases, meaning we would want to make sure that we had at least 5 independent cart load readings versus a truck scale reading to compare to see if there's a trend, those types of things before we would make any changes into a calibration number. Yep. But yeah, most generally, mobile scales, it's by the number of weighing components, but normally 1.5 to 2%. We should be able to maintain that pretty well and get very close on the grain coming out of the field.
Yep. Yeah. Last thing I'll say with scales, if you guys are using an auxiliary scale display or it is a new cart for you guys this year, if it's your first season, if you guys do have that option, like I said, fire it up, make sure it's giving you a good readout, make sure there's no codes popping up there. But otherwise, I mean, scales are pretty straightforward when they work, so should be pretty.
When they work, it says. So
I don't think there's anything else I can think off the top of my head for scales.
Okay.
I think that pretty much takes us around the cart.
It does. So we'll head back up front here and double check our list. Like I said, guys, it's like anything this time of the year. We want to make sure we're prepared and ready. And so we went through some of the safety, lighting, those types of things, the wear, from front to back, shafts, gearboxes, belt packages, all the other wear items that we want to check. Augers, tarps, wheels, tires, and the scales. As you can see, that kind of takes care of grain carts. There's not a lot more there to worry about. Recognize that age will play a role on some of the things that we talked about, but always safety first, and the rest of it will follow. So harvest is here. Hopefully some of what we saw today helps jog your memory, puts you in tune with what you need to do to have a safe and reliable productivity for your harvest time. Make sure that you stop and talk to your Kinze dealer if you need anything for your carts. Make sure that if it's an auger or whatever it might be, those guys are going to be happy to help you and get you the repair parts that you need. I know we've got the chat opened up. Is there any questions that have come in on the chat, guys? Okay. All right. With that, I would say thank you for joining us this morning. We've got some additional information that we want to play coming from our district sales managers that were here just the other day and have some things to share about grain carts as well. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Colin Jones with Kinze Manufacturing. We are live from our product center, and we are here to talk today about Kinze grain carts.
Hi, my name's Matt Stewart with Kinze Manufacturing, District Sales Manager. Colin, why Kinze grain carts?
Customers love our product for one, their durability, and also their serviceability. Just a lifelong product that is going to stand the test of time.
So we offer a wide variety of grain carts, ranging anywhere from the 1051 or 1121 all the way up to the 1721. So 1321 is designed to hold at least 1,300 bushels. We move on up to the 1421, the 1521, and the 1721, which are all designed based on the numbers. So 1,400 bushels, 1,500 bushels, on up to 1,700 bushels. So all Kinze grain carts, especially the dual auger grain carts, are designed to unload in 2 minutes or less. So extremely fast unload time, which is obviously very important to our farmer friends.
So a corner dual auger, you're going to have a floor auger that is going to transfer grain to the front of the machine, and a corner auger is going to be coming out, as it says, out of the corner. So much easier for viewability whenever you're emptying off into a truck. What we have back here is similar to a 1050, so our revamped 1121 that's going to discharge perpendicular with the sides of the cart. Whenever you would talk to customers, whenever you would talk to dealers, a lot of our growers out there in the Midwest, all over the country really, operated these 1050 carts, wondering where they could get another one. So we introduced our 1121. So 11 meaning it's 1,100 bushels, 21 meaning 2, meaning that it's a dual auger, 1 meaning that it's the first series of that 1121. And then, as we brought that product back, there was a few new introductions that we brought to that line, such as the introduction of the tracks. We also offer a grease bank on the front of the machine. So as I mentioned earlier, the serviceability of the machine. And then, a Kinze grain cart is one of the most durable products out there in the grain cart industry.
Let's transition back to our 1051 model, which, as Colin had mentioned, is really one of the most famous sizes and most popular sizes that Kinze offers today. It's a very versatile size. A lot of our farms that are in the Midwest region have tractors that are capable of pulling such a cart. Plus, at 1,000 bushels, it basically fills a semi, which is one of the most important things that our farmers tell us that they need in a grain cart. Yeah, so the 1051 is a single auger grain cart, so it's going to come off of the corner of the grain cart itself. So it doesn't have an auger in the floor for that clean out. It's a gravity fed, which then discharges into the semi.
A key feature of a single auger cart is the clean out time. We've made improvements to our dual auger carts and the amount of, or the time that it takes to clean out, but that is another key feature on the single auger carts is clean out times, especially for guys that go from commercial beans to seed beans and then back and forth. It's much quicker.
Yeah.
So our grain carts, we offer 3 different transport selections, one being tracks, like we see behind us here. The other two being flotation and then row crop. And row crop is exclusive to the 1121 line.
So Kinze is always taking feedback from our farmers and dealers alike. One of those features is a centralized grease bank. Colin, can you talk to us more about the centralized grease bank?
Yeah, so most of your grease circs are going to be right up front. Really the main approach we had is to take everything down. So you don't have to get up on a ladder on the back of a pickup truck or anything like that to access your grease circs. So everything's down, accessible, easy to reach, just easier for serviceability. So with our auger clean out, so it's very accessible right here on the front of the machine, easy to open, easy to clean out. So with any dual auger cart that we have, whether that's an 1121, a 1321, all the way up to the 17, we have easy clean out as we're switching from one crop type to the next.
You know, and that could be something super special, super important for farmers that have multiple crops. So in between crops as you change over, that easy clean out is right here at your fingertips.
Absolutely.
So toolless access on the Kinze grain carts are oversized fasteners. They're wing style fasteners, so you don't have to carry tools with you to remove things like hex nuts or things like that to access important points for clean out on the grain cart.
As we are in the field, you know, we don't have a lot of specialty tools in the tractor cab with us, so having something that is easy to take off with minimal effort, minimal tools, very important to the clean out process, and then also just the workflow throughout our day. A hose cradle is whenever you're unhooking the cart or whenever you're trying to manage the hoses that you have on the machine, keeping that tidy and then also tidy when in a storing position.
So Colin, one of the basic features of all grain carts is how we unload them into a semi perhaps.
Sure.
Talk to us more about the tip spout on Kinze grain carts.
So on our 1321 to our 1721 line, on our corner auger line, we have a redesigned tip spout. So this is going to give you more control while you're trying to unload a truck. And then also with the corner auger line, you see the clear line of sight out of the tractor cab and then onto the hopper bottom. So one, you're getting the control, two, you're getting the visibility. So just great while using in the field.
Yeah, so let's talk about the rolling tarps on Kinze grain carts. They are available in both electric roll tarps or manual roll tarps. Also with Kinze grain carts is a new tank vent system. Colin, can you tell us more about that?
Absolutely. So the tank vent will be important because a lot of times in the mornings or late at night, our carts are tarped. We try to unload those and sometimes they could collapse the tarp perhaps. So this vent is going to give you the ability to unload a cart while it's tarped. So with our corner auger line, it gives you the ability to control the entire unload auger, so you can bring that in and out. It's purely preference, it just gives you more accessibility, more option to unload onto a semi.
You know, another great option on Kinze grain carts is the remote scale readout, which mounts on the side of the grain cart itself. So from a scale feature perspective, now available at Kinze grain carts is the Digistar or the Scale Tech. New for model year 26 is the all-new Kinze decal design, which we're very proud to say also has the American flag. Folks, thanks for joining today. We had a great time talking to you about Kinze grain carts.
For more information, you can visit kinze.com or your local dealership.
Well, there we have it, guys. A little bit of extra info on some of the new Kinze grain cart lineup there. I appreciate those guys for putting that together for us. Once again, don't hesitate to reach out and contact us. Take a look on kinze.com for any of your grain cart needs. There's also a YouTube channel with our Kinze informational service segments out there, guys. So utilize that information as best you can. Thank you for joining us today. Have a safe harvest.